Welcome to another episode of Cool Hand Garage with my co-host, Cool Hand Snoops. Say hi. He's shy. Anyhow, so there's going to be a lost episode of part 4 because, there's a mishap where I hit record like a normal video instead of hitting hyperlapse. So that sucks. So it was like an hour and a half of me putting this together in normal speed. And then you see me mess up. And then, it's a waste of time to watch. So that's not enjoyable. So that kind of blows. So to go over what I did build, so you guys are kind of caught up. Basically, we built the top half of the lower structure that we were working on. We put some fender guards on for the wheels. We built the motor, the actual engine for it, and it does turn. It has its own little mini crankshaft and everything. We got the electric motors on, and so all the drive system for that's put on. And then I believe we also put on the steering drive, which is this guy, and it powers it through a worm gear here in the middle. And then this drive just has a 3 or 4 gears. I think it's 3 gears to bring it down to the power to the drivetrain. So it's pretty cool. So this time I'm gonna make sure I actually hit hyperlapse so I can do a time lapse video because I'm pretty disappointed. So we also built this part of the cab, and it looks like it just snaps onto the front. So and then this one, number 5 today. Looks like we're going to be putting the tires on. Hell yeah! Putting the tires on and doing the outriggers and all that. So, and finishing up the cab and boxing in the motor. So, wish Snoopy and I luck. Say hello. Meow. Yeah. He just likes sitting on my lap. He's needy. You're needy. Anyhow, enjoy the elevator music. See you on the other side. All right. The crane's coming along pretty good. Check this out. We got the cab all done. They got the engine all put together. Oh, damn. I gotta show that better. Yeah, there we go. I can't just have the airlines tucked in right now. They're not actually doing anything. These are going to get fed to the outriggers. Yeah, so I did do a motor check, and it drives. It drives, and all the wheels turn. I was hoping it would crab, but it doesn't. Basically, just the steering motors are all hooked up so that they always turn. Well, they turn the opposite way, actually. If they turned the same way, it would crab. And crabbing is when it goes like that as opposed to turning. So you can kind of, it's pretty cool. I don't know if in the actual, it might do it separately, but I'm pretty sure they're hooked up on the same power source, which means I would have to hook them up separately in order to do that. Which I can do because I can program this. That could be super cool. Maybe that's what I'll do. Because I believe I have a blank board here on the main power, which means I can take one of the turning motors and set it up on that, and then you can also tie them together. Because you can program the whole thing. It's like a PLC. It's pretty cool. So, one thing that I did do, because some of the complaints on the Amazon were that all their wiring is all over the place. It looks like shit. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's going to. You have to tuck your wires. Kind of like this. It's clean. I did zip tie mine together. I might do a little better job. I might snip that one and move it up a little higher. But yeah, I did hide a lot of my wires and zip tie them together to make sure everything stays nice and clean. When it's all done and I know what's not going to get built over and all that, I will be doing a very deep zip tie to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to and I don't just have a bunch of free wires. Because I actually did stuff, because there was a lot of extra length. I ended up stuffing a lot of the wires in the box here and like around the engine. So this is a pretty hollow area, which is pretty nice. So I was able to do that. But the detail here is pretty cool. It's got like a little mirrors. And then the doors open. It's got a little mini steering wheel that does absolutely nothing, but it's cute. I got a tow hitch on the front. I'm assuming that's for lashing up the hook. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I can tell you that I'm probably not going to cut the wire length, the string length at the end to what they tell me to do. Because when I did that on my big one, I got wires that I thought were a little short. It was fine, but that's not what I wanted it to. Especially when I go back and I usually end up extra reeving it to get myself some more capacity. So I'm not loading the motor so much because it decreases the line pull. Yeah, for now, we're just going to keep going. But it's starting to look like something, right? Because it's not just a box frame anymore with a bunch of hoses and shit and cables. It's actually hooked up. I can drive this. I can drive this across the floor. I can steer it out of the way. It's pretty cool. It is slow, but it's also 2 electric motors driving a huge long, well, it's 4 actually electric motors running the whole system. But it's a gear, so you have multiple gear reductions, and finally at the differentials, they're planetaries, which is even a larger differential, a larger gear reduction. So it's just reduction to reduction to reduction. And I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be slow. The only way I can think of to speed it up would be to get rid of the planetaries, but I think they're cool, so I wouldn't. It makes it stronger. The only somehow to overclock the motor. I don't know about that. I'm not that good. I don't know how to do that. But anyhow, that's all I got for now. These are Yes. There's that there, yes. I'm not 100% sure yet how these entirely work for the outriggers. So I know when you run the motor and it turns the U-joint up here, it spins this little gear on the inside. And as long as this is stationary, because otherwise it'll just spin the whole thing, it will screw and it will suck this in and out. And it does take a minute. I'm fine with that. I personally don't care. Again, that was one of the other complaints where it's like, it's slow. And I'm like, you're not using this for an actual job. I play with it while I'm being paid, but I'm not using it to get paid. Unless people want to do that on YouTube for putting it together. But yeah, so that spins it up while it's doing that. And so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how that's going to work quite yet. And honestly, this thing keeps surprising me every time I put it together. There's some cool hidden gear stuff that's all moved around and somehow it drives through things. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So, yeah, so that's all I got for today. There won't be a part 4, unfortunately. But part 5, I think, really gets it going. It's like I said, it's really starting to look like something now, as opposed to just the chassis, the skeleton chassis. And so, I mean, this thing is awesome. Yeah. So it's got this is one of the steering motors, and then it's got so these 4 wheels back here. These are also drive wheels. They're driven from motors inside of here. And then inside of here also has your air controls, which there's a servo. Depending which way you power it, it will create a suction or a vacuum. So when you want to extend the outriggers, obviously you give it pressure. It's like, and then when you hit it at the same time, because it's also powered in the same circuit, there's a servo motor that then kicks it over to the reverse switch, which then turns because depending which side you turn it on, it's not really vacuum or suction. It's really just pressure on one, or it just changes which side of the cylinder you're pushing pressure on. Yeah, but it all changes at the exact same time. It's really cool. Yeah, so stay tuned for more for part 6, hopefully tomorrow. I don't see why that wouldn't happen, but stay tuned, and yeah, we'll see that. It looks like we start to actually build the outriggers, which is gonna be wicked. So we'll see you then on Cool Hand Garage.